Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Busy Man Show. Let's talk with your host, yours truly, Melo Okafo. Here, we beam the light on issues concerning you. Yes, you. You may not think they're affecting you directly, but one way or another, all these issues are connected, and we're just here to give you general knowledge and basically educate you on how to help yourselves, help others, and give a better place for each of us. Welcome once again to the show Let's Talk. I'm your host Melo Okafo, and today our topic is going to be about bullying. Here we have Dr. Chibuki Aibes, who's going to also help us throw some more lights on this topic. Has been a medical doctor for over a decade, so I have to respect that. Also a practice manager for a clinic, one wellness center. She's a mother of three very wonderful children. So I'm very happy to have you here today. Hello.
Thanks for having me, Melly. Thank you.
So, my first question is, what do you think bullying is generally?
Bullying is a show of superiority of some sort, right?
Yes.
A show of, and a brutal show of superiority, I'll put it. Yes, that's what bullying is essentially.
Because the victim of bullying will now tend to feel inferior, and the other person
Exactly.
feels like they have more power
Yes, over that other person.
Yes. So usually, I wouldn't say bullying is only about physical harm, because many people may think it's like only about violence or physical, but I feel it also has to do with the emotions as well, like making someone feel less than they already are, or just intimidating them.
What is common across all the types of bullying is this intimidation, and then so there's verbal bullying where you're using harsh and insultive words
Yes.
on people. There's physical bullying where you have to use physical, brutal force on people. Okay, it could be a slap, it could be a pinch, but you're
Yeah.
causing physical harm to the person who you're bullying. There's also emotional,
Yeah.
where you make people feel less than they are without even having to open your mouth or touch them. And then very recently, since the advent of social media and using the cyberspace, there is
Yes,
cyberbullying where you're hiding behind your keypad and your screen.
And someone still hurt at the other side.
Exactly, trying to prove superiority in a very insensitive form to someone else.
Yeah, so I feel like manipulation can also be under bullying.
Yeah.
Like for instance, there's this word snitching. Like people use it even in school. So like you do something to someone, let's say you take their food, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to do the right thing, report to a teacher. When they find out they report, they're like, oh, you're such a snitch, why'd you snitch on me? And then they feel I don't want my friends to call me a snitch. So next time they feel like shunned, and they wouldn't want to say anything if something happens to them just because of that tag snitch. They don't want to be known as something bad. So that's also
That's a form of emotional abuse. Okay, and I must use this medium to tell people to always speak up when you see wrong or you see somebody doing something wrong. You must speak up, right? You must correct that ill. There's this thing about a lot of people like to be popular, like to don't want to be left out. Okay, so if you see everybody doing the wrong thing, I mean, there's honor in always doing the right thing. You don't need to follow the bandwagon and do what is wrong. Yeah, so sometimes if you assess, and depending on your age as well, if you assess the environment, assess your classmates, you might not be able to speak up, but you can write a note and put it on your teacher's desk and let your teacher know that, oh, this is what has happened, instead of speaking up. Okay, but I encourage everybody to be bold enough to speak ill about anything that they see. So to speak against anything ill.
Generally. So who do you believe is responsible for bullying per se? Like whether it comes from the home or the school, like who do you believe is responsible for the act of bullying?
So what I know is bullied people bully others. Okay,
I like that.
Bullied people bully others, and the bully could be from anywhere. It could be from home, right? It could also be that the current bully was bullied in school from before and has become a bully. So there's no one person to blame for the cause of bullying. And but what's important is that you can have a child who's from a very lovely home who becomes a bully because they have been bullied in school, and vice versa. So but then the home has a very vital part
Yeah.
to play in the role of a bully.
Okay. So what about the school though? Does the school also have a responsibility, like addressing bullying incidents? And all this?
Definitely. As it were, a lot of people, in fact, let's not forget that bullying also even happens to adults. Oh yes.
The
Yes.
responsible adult people like
Yes. So bullying happens in your parents' workplaces. So sometimes your parents are being bullied by their boss at work, and they come home and they bully you, and you go back to school. So it's a cycle, it's a vicious cycle. But the school does have a role to play in bullying, because students are very that's where you have a group of students the most, or the group of kids,
peers.
about the peers around the same age at most. So if your teacher and the school has the ability to identify a bully and identify a child who is being bullied, those two are very important, because if you do not identify the child who is being bullied, that child can now grow up and also be a bully.
bullying. And then the cycle just continues
Exactly.
again. So you also have to find the root problem of the issue to prevent that ripple effect that
Yes.
continues spreading and spreading.
Yes. You're very smart.
Thank you, thank you. So, in your opinion, what role do parents play in preventing bullying? Because it can come from the home, from school. So, how do parents prevent their children from bullying?
First, is the parent's responsibility to know their child. I'm a mother. I know my 3 kids, and I parent very differently. I parent my kids individually, so I know each of my child's strength and weakness. It is my responsibility as their parents first. And in parenting my child and my children as individuals, I'm able to form a bond with each child and know my child in entirety. So much so that when there's a change in the child's attitude, I'm able to pick it, one, and form a relationship so much so that the child can express to me what they're uncomfortable about. If they're being bullied in school, or they're being bullied in the estates or in church, for example, they're able to let me know. So that's the role I take. And the last one, as a mother of a child who's ever going to be bullied or is bullied, it is my responsibility to find it's not just for me to listen. Okay, I must address it with the school, or if it's in church, with the parent of the person of the bully. I must also tackle, because my child might not be the only child who's being bullied.
Yes. So also about, like, when you mentioned that your child should also be open towards you, there are some parents that, like, you could be strict with your children to allow them not to go into those negative practices. We're talking about being open towards your children so that they can also communicate their feelings to you. So I'm saying, as a parent as well, I also feel like although you can be strict, you should also have that lenient behavior so that your children can talk to you freely and they wouldn't hide anything from you. Because a factor of bullying could also be fear. If they fear their parents at home, they wouldn't want to fear others in school as well. So they don't become the one that people fear.
Yeah, exactly. I get you. I get the fearer or the feared. They are the feared. Yes. And that happens a lot. So what happens? You're very right. And let me buttress that point. So if you're coward, the word is coward. It's not really fear. It's you're coward. You're reduced. Okay, at home, you want to go where you have a superiority over that other person. You can cower over others, right? And that's what happens. That's why you become a bully. So yes, you are right.
Thank you. Okay. So also a home environment and school environment could also contribute to the development of a bullying culture. So what kind of environment do you feel at home and school would contribute to bullying?
First and foremost, identifying if the school has a zero tolerance attitude towards bullying. It's a culture. So there's some schools that it's a no-no. Okay. In fact, some kids are actually taken out of the school because you are incorrigible with your bullying, right? So if there's a culture spreads. A culture it's across all the cadres, from the management staff to the teachers to the students, and even to those in creche and preschool, right? So the school has to create an environment that has a zero tolerance to bullying. And when a child, like I've mentioned before, when a child is a bully, the child is fighting some quote unquote demon. So it's not to ostracize the child and
Just keep them
keep
somewhere.
no. It's to try to help that child understand that you're hurting somebody else. So an emotionally sensitive environment is important. Okay. Now, there's some schools that the teachers are the bullies. So it is the responsibility of the school's management and the school's administrative team to identify that teacher and take that teacher out.
Okay.
I used to have a bully that was a teacher in one of my kids' class, and I picked that up and it was brought to schools. Like I said, remember when I was talking about the role of the parents?
Yes.
So my role there was to go to school and fight. So not physical fight or verbal fight, but to take a stand and say, no, this cannot be tolerable.
Assertiveness.
Yes, be assertive. I'm like, this is not acceptable, this is not tolerable. And the school of course handled that.
Okay, that's very interesting. So according to the how you said the school should have a no tolerance system, that can fall under one of the policies, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because, so what other kind of policies do you feel the school should have against bullying?
A counseling unit. So it's not so much to say don't bully, or you really need to dig deep and drill into the child's psychology and help that child heal, because bullies are going through some sort of in fact, remember, let me even ask you, that even I don't know how exposed are you to the internet? Do you have access to
Yes,
social media?
and I don't have all the platforms, but
Okay, you shouldn't have all the platforms. But anyway, so the ones that you have access to, you notice that those cyber bullies are actually even worse than the people that they are bullying. So in the sense that you see someone say, see your head like a football, go and look at that person's head. So most times people who are bullying are screaming for help. They are dealing with their own insecurities and are exactly to other people. Yes. So
I understand that. So the school should also have the right responsibility to approach bullying in these certain ways, and also to know the students' behavior, to lay out what they expect from different students in school,
and be able to identify once there's a change.
Yes.
So if you know that a child usually does well in examinations and all of a sudden they are not doing well, you need to find out. It could be that the child is being bullied, or if you see that all the kids are going for recess and the child doesn't want to go for recess, a child normally that likes to go for recess all of a sudden doesn't want to go. It's the duty of the teacher and the other administrative staff to find out why.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've had a few questions so far, about 5 questions, and they've been very interactive. But I think we need a break now. Just like a few minutes break for now.
Okay.
So we'll see you later. Once again, we're back from our break. It was very nice. Hope you had a nice break too as well. We're going to continue with a few more questions. So, Dr. Chibuki, how do you think that schools and parents can educate children on the effects of bullying? Because we've talked about it could have different emotional effects, and how do you think that parents and schools can counter these effects and promote kindness and respect and other good values?
Opportunities like this, like I know a lot of kids. My daughter is always on YouTube watching reacts. Did I get that right?
Reactions?
She calls them reacts.
I'm not really sure. I don't on YouTube much.
Okay, so she calls them react videos. So she's always on YouTube, and she'll be interested in watching Busy Minds YouTube channel. So modes like this, if the schools can always create platforms where they can talk about bullying and the effects of bullying, hold some nice lessons. I was actually thinking about writing a book on the effects of bullying, because we see that I have a special needs child, and we see that most of the times they are at the receiving end of the bullies, right? So having literature around bullying, stocking up all of that in school's library, and constant reinforcement and talks
Okay.
to students, and when a bully is, if the teacher or the school is able to identify a bully, you know, the school can use that as, maybe not shame the child, but use it as a learning point,
Like
or
example,
an
an example
example,
for-
exactly, so people can understand what an inappropriate behavior is. So not say, okay, no, this is Melly the bully. No, so you say, okay, so this happened. A child was, its child's food was poured deliberately, and this is an unacceptable behavior because you're going to cause another child to be hungry. So it's important that when even delivering your message, you are pointing out the antecedents, like what caused it, and the results, or the
after effect,
the after effects, the consequence of that behavior. Because most times a lot of kids bully without realizing what they're doing. They just want to be cheered. Oh, it's good. Or you can throw a punch.
Fresh, nice one.
Nice one. But meanwhile, they're forgetting that they're causing somebody actual physical and emotional pain.
Yes, I understand that. So also the parents could teach their children as well, be more kind to other people, be respectful, be disciplined, also be focused as well. The reason you came to school was not to make friends, for them to be shouting your name everywhere. If you want to shout your name, you study and work hard for them to shout your name for something
And
good.
then you keep on getting awards in school and everything. So always be known for the good. I always tell my kids, be known for the good. Don't be known for the bad.
We've been talking a lot about schools and parents working on the students, the children. So do you think that schools can effectively address bullying without involving the parents?
No. Now, schooling for kids is, okay, in my head I'm thinking multidisciplinary, but no, it's partnership between, so to raise a child, you need teachers and you need parents. So anything that happens in the child's life outside the school, the parents should be aware, or the teacher should be aware, and anything that happens in school, the parents need to be aware. So I always commend schools that have apps, e-platforms, and even if you can't even afford that, there's a communication book that the school can communicate to the child, to the child's parents, saying this has happened, this is what happened, all of that. So there's a constant communication and frequent meetings. PTAs. I'm sure Busy Minds is tired of me, but there must be constant communication between the school and the parents.
Okay. So I want to say there was this, I understand your points and everything you said. There was this video I saw now while I was on TikTok. So I saw this.
Okay, it's like a TikTok person.
Yes.
Okay.
So the teacher reported the student to their parents. They're like, oh, let's say the person's name is Daniel, for instance. Like, Daniel has been causing a lot of trouble in school. He's making noise, and the parents is just tired of everything. He's like, okay, when he's making noise at home, do I call you? No, am I reporting him to you? What he's doing at home? So I understand that the teachers and the parents should also work hand in hand. But do you think there's some certain things that the parents can do on their own, or the teachers can do on their own, without having to necessarily work together?
No, I don't think so per se. So you need, as a parent, you need to look for a school that aligns with your parenting values and style.
Okay.
There are some schools that use corporal mortification, like flogging children. If I'm a parent and that's my style of parenting, then I align with that. If I'm a parent who doesn't believe in physical mortification, like I'm spanking you, and I don't believe that children should be physically spanked, and I'm sending my child to a school where that's part of their punishment. They tell you to pick pin. You know what they call pick pin?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That they say you should pick pin, or they tell you to kneel down and raise, or they're flogging
Ride
you.
Okada.
Exactly, or ride Okada. Then our values don't align. So as parents, it's your responsibility to look
Pick the
for
right school.
a school that aligns with your own parenting values, so that you can meet.
That makes
And
sense.
it's choosing a school for your child or your ward is the singular most important decision you can make for a child and their growth.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So now, should schools be held accountable for bullying that occur on their premises?
Yes.
Out of their premises.
Yes. No, in their premises, yes. Because as a parent, when I'm handing over my child to you, I'm handing my child over to you in entirety. Yes. So I'm entrusting that child to you. So if my child is a bully, you should be responsible to call my child to order.
Okay.
If my child is being bullied, I expect you to manage that situation. Yes.
Okay, so now that's for on premise. What about off the school hours or premises? Should they also be held responsible?
It's difficult to hold the school responsible. However, the school should be aware so that if you're doing an intervention for your child, whether your child is a bully or is being bullied, that intervention can continue in school.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can also play a role in that specific area,
Yes.
even though they're not fully okay.
To
they're
meet
full-
that expected outcome.
Okay. I've had a wonderful time. I will not lie.
Me too.
Please,
Me
I've been
too.
very much educated about bullying, especially from you, from different things I've heard different times, and I'm sure I've learned a lot. I hope I've also learned a lot.
I have.
Thank you, and I hope you also enjoyed as well and learned one or two things about bullying. At least know that it doesn't only come from your parents or from your school. You can also make a personal effort to make sure that you don't bully others or don't get bullied. And it's also brave to report, even if they call you a snitch. Just as long as you're doing the right thing, then you know you're doing the right thing. So thank you very much for
Thank
this. I had a
you.
wonderful time, and we'll see you next time.